بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين ما بعد. Dear respected brothers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He explains the stories of different Anbiya over and over again. Nuh alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ismail alayhi salam, and other Anbiya. There's always a lesson in them for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want us to know the story by heart. He wants us to take a lesson from those stories. So we discussed about Nuh alayhi salam. We had a Tafsir session about Musa alayhi salam, Sulaiman alayhi salam. And if we do not mention Ibrahim alayhi salam, then it will be not right. Ibrahim alayhi salam, he is from the forefathers of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is from the family of Ibrahim alayhi salam through his son Ismail alayhi salam. Ibrahim alayhi salam was called Khalilullah, the friend of Allah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put him through many trials and trials so that he can, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give him a offspring that can be one of those that that can stay steadfast in trials and in tests. One of those tests that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put him through was, all his tests were tests that we cannot even imagine them. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave him two sons, Ismail alayhi salam and Ishaq alayhi salam, in his late 90s. So he was late 90, and he had a son from Hajra alayhi salam, the name was Ismail alayhi salam, and from Sarah alayhi salam, the name was Ishaq alayhi salam. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is from the from Bani Ismail. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him his son Ismail alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Jibreel alayhi salam one day when Ismail alayhi salam was very small, and he told Jibreel alayhi salam that go to Ibrahim and tell him that I am commanding you to take your family, your wife and your newborn son, and ride a camel. Where do you have to go? We cannot tell you. Jibreel alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam said, can I know where we're going? He said, just take some food, some water for the way, and just gather your stuff, whatever you can take. We have to go on the journey. So they started their journey from Jerusalem, from Palestine, where Ibrahim alayhi salam used to live. And Jibreel alayhi salam was their guide. So they started the journey, and it ended in the desert of Makkah. At those times, Makkah was not just like we see it today. It was just like a desert in between black mountains, and it was not even a single piece of grass used to grow there. So Ibrahim alayhi salam and his wife and his children, his son Ismail alayhi salam, they traveled all that distance from Jerusalem all the way to Makkah. And Jibreel alayhi salam, he says when there is such a hot, scorching sun in Makkah, and there's all black stones and all desert and all sand all over. So Ibrahim alayhi salam is told that, okay, now this is the place we have to stop and take off your family and tell them to stay. Now Ibrahim alayhi salam, he is in a situation that this is the command of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants me to do this. I cannot say no. So he says to his wife and he takes off his wife and his child, and he puts them near a mountain, and he gets back on his camel without even telling them anything. He is not allowed to speak with his wife. Look at the trial Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the test Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting him through. He is not even allowed to tell his wife, what are we doing here? What are we supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? So what he does, he gets back on his camel and he turns back to go back. So his wife, young lady with a small child, she comes in front of the camel and she says that, oh Ibrahim, what are you trying to do with us? What are you trying to do? Why are you leaving me and my child in the middle of nowhere? No water, no shade, no tree. Even the sun is blazing fire, and the earth is also hot as an iron. So what are you trying to do with us? So he's not allowed to talk, but he just looks up to the sky. And Hajar alayhi salam, she was the wife of a Nabi. So she says one thing, Allahu amaraka bihada, O Ibrahim, has Allah commanded you to do this? Is this the command of Allah? And he just nods his head, yes. And then she says some words. Those words are capable of writing with gold water. What are those words? They are a word of a young woman that has a baby in her arms, and she does not have more than a day's food or so. What does she say? Allahu amaraka bihada? Has Allah commanded you to do this with us, to leave us here? And when Ibrahim alayhi salam says yes, he nods his head. So she says, إِذَنْ لَن يُضَيِّعَنَ اللَّهُ. She says that if Allah has commanded you, then Allah will not waste us in over here. Allah will be the one who will take care of us. Allah will take care of us in this desert that you are leaving us. إِذَنْ لَن يُضَيِّعَنَ اللَّهُ. The yaqeen she had in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is what created this ummah of Rasulullah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ulama of Tafsir say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put Ibrahim alayhi salam in all those trials so that a ummah can be created that can also go through trials, that can sacrifice for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the mother of this ummah is Hajar alayhi salam. And what was her words? Allahu amaraka bihada. If Allah has told you this, إِذَنْ لَن يُضَيِّعَنَ اللَّهُ. Allah will not let us die in this desert. And Ibrahim alayhi salam goes. Now she takes her son and sits down on the side. The water that she had left, the food that she had left, just finished in a few hours or so. And now the baby is crying. The baby is crying. And Hajar alayhi salam is a mother. She does not have enough milk to feed the baby because she does not have water to drink. Now she is in a state of worry that she does not know what to do. So, because of the mountains coming in between her, so she does not see what's going around. Is there anyone nearby? Or if she can see someone, she starts climbing Safa. And she goes on top of Mount Safa and she sees far away there's no one. Then Mount Marwa. So Safa and Marwa, we do Sa'i in Hajj. This is the Sunnah of Hajar alayhi salam. And the Sunnah of Hajar alayhi salam is because so that we can understand the trials she went through. So those 7 times she went through those up and down the Mount Safa and Marwa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Jibreel alayhi salam at the foot of Ismail alayhi salam, and he was laying down on the sand, and he was kicking the sand with his heels. So that same spot, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Jibreel alayhi salam to dig from there. So Jibreel alayhi salam, he hit his wing there, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the order for the water to come out, and the water started flowing out. It just started flowing out like it was a spring there, a water spring. Now Hajar alayhi salam, she's exhausted. She's running back and forth 7 times. We are running on the marbles these days. What was it back then? Makkah, it has a sand that's mixed with rocks. So it's not easy to walk there. The real dirt and soil that is. So she is exhausted. She comes and sits down, and she sees that there's water flowing out. Now, the word Zamzam is in Hebrew. In the time that it means to stop. And ulama say if she did not say those words, the whole earth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy was in so much eager to bless this child and mother, that if she did not say those words and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to stop that water, that water would have flowed all over the earth. So the Zamzam is the qurbani, the sacrifice of Hajar alayhi salam, of Ismail alayhi salam, of Ibrahim alayhi salam. So my respected brothers, the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam and his trials are for us, because he is the father of this ummah. And if we follow his footsteps, if we make sacrifices for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward us like He rewarded other anbiya and their offspring. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's promise, it comes with sacrifice. The level of sacrifice we give, the level of the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is according to that. Same thing in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Sahaba ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'een, they did such a sacrifice that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted their sacrifice and made them radiyallahu anhum radwa. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there to help us. But we just have to pay the price, and the price is sacrifice. The sacrifice we will make, Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was commanded in his dream to sacrifice Ismail alayhi salam. Now he sees the dream one day, he thinks it's a dream, the second day, third day, and then the fourth day he says to his son, Ismail, Inni ara fil manami anni adbahuka fandur madha tara. I am seeing in my dream that I am slaughtering you. What is your opinion? He is also a Nabi, Ismail. He says, Ya abati fa'al ma tu'mar. Whatever you have been commanded. Ulama say that the dreams of the Anbiya, they are true, and they are always if there's an ishara in it, it's a command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Ismail alayhi salam, he says, oh my father, if you have been commanded this, fulfill the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now father and son both are going. The son is 5-6 years old. He is walking with his father, holding his finger and going to get sacrificed for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is this? This is the trial that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put him into, so that we can learn from this, and we cannot get upset on the small trials that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends on us. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the ability to understand this and to make sacrifice for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We sacrifice today for our worldly needs. We sacrifice our time, our family's time, our kids, our children, for what? For the worldly benefits. But the day we start sacrificing for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of all the needs of this world, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make us successful in this life and in the hereafter. Jazakallah khair.